All right, Nuggets fans, welcome in to Pickaxe and Roll, brought to you by our good friends over at Superbook Sports. I'm your host, Ryan Blackburn, at NBA Blackburn on Twitter, part of the Mile High Sports Podcast Network, and I am very excited to discuss the freaking finals as the Denver Nuggets win Game 4 over the Los Angeles Lakers. Final score 113-111. They complete the sweep. Michael, can you do your best broom? Can you do your best brooming?
I thought I had
sweeping.
There
There you go. There you go. I love it. If you don't know, Michael Ferrero, my producer on this podcast, he's joining us for this episode. It's late. We're both tired. We are both having to be quiet, but we're going to do what we can to keep up this energy as these Denver Nuggets, they deserve so much love. They deserve all the love.
It's not too late for you out there. You should be out partying.
I should be out partying. I've got an 11 a.m. flight.
Now.
11 a.m. But yeah, hey, maybe I should rebook the flight if we're being honest. I just missed this one. Let's get back at 6 as opposed to 2 in Denver. That'll be fine. But
see if you can figure out where the team's at and go celebrate it with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're definitely getting bottle service. The team and Orion. That'll be fantastic. The Denver Nuggets going to the finals. This is a big time moment. This is a big time moment in franchise history.
Can you imagine just 6-7 years ago just saying those words, those words coming out of your mouth because you're a native too. I'm a native, you're a native.
Yeah.
In the Brian Shaw, Cancun on 3 era, can you imagine we'd be at this moment right now? This is incredible.
That's 1, 2, 3, 6 weeks right there. Yes. That's an unbelievable moment in franchise history, and it's very, very opposite of where this team is at now. This team is grinding. They're battling. They want to get to that last moment. They've had those opportunities to duck out before, and in previous iterations with this team, maybe different cultures for this team, they decided to go a different direction. But now this Nuggets team, they're absolutely legit. It is super cool to see. It's very exciting for them to be able to get this done, and I'm was happy to be here for it because some of the shots that Nikola Jokić hit, it's just unbelievable, man. What was it like watching downstairs for you?
You know, what was crazy is I'm sitting there, and the first half was what it was. You knew that LA was going to throw everything they had into it, and so once LeBron, I mean, as much as I've expressed my disdain for LeBron James, he was terrific in the first half.
Oh yeah,
and I thought they survived a couple of storms, and 15's not small, but to keep it at 15, I thought maybe if they can come out and punch first and punch quick in the third quarter, they got a shot. And so once they did that, I was sitting on the edge of my seat the whole fourth quarter. When Jokić hit the Sombor shuffle 3 to put him up 6, I was fist pumping and yelling. And we're dog sitting, so I have my dog here and the 2 other dogs, and the dogs were going crazy and they were barking. I mean, it was so loud, but that might be. And I think I don't remember who said. I don't know if Mike Breen said it or if they said it on SportsCenter right after. That might end up being the most iconic shot in Nuggets history. I mean, falling away at Sombor shuffle off the wrong foot, and they slowed it down. He has the ball behind his head all the way when he shot that, and it was just nothing but net. I mean, it was unbelievable. And the best part is the look that Anthony, it was just like in Game 1 or Game 2. The Game 1 when Anthony Davis stared at Jokić after he hit. Yeah, I think it was when he stared at Jokić for hitting the buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter. The best part for me was looking over, and Anthony Davis looks over like this at him again. Do you not expect this now? He does this on a regular basis.
Oh my God. Shout out to Chris Smoove. Shot clock cheese is his common catchphrase, NBA 2K. That's a throwback for me. I stopped watching Chris Smoove after a little bit, but no, it's very apt with what Jokić did, and he did it twice tonight. He did it twice. Nikola Jokić is just stupid. It is stupid watching this dude and being able to see the journey from where he's come from. He makes a lot of crazy shots, and he actually commented on it tonight and said, hey, sometimes those shots at the end are the easiest shots. They're not the hardest shots because you just got to get a shot up and you just chuck it at the rim. Well, not everybody has the hand-eye coordination of Nikola Jokić or the poise or the just the balance and ability to be able to do as crazy of shit as he does. But that is, you might be right. It might be one of the greatest shots in franchise history. And to be able to say that, that's really cool.
It could end up being a where were you type of moment. Like everyone remembers, like think of the most iconic plays in Denver sports history. The
Yeah.
Elway helicopter, the Von
Hmm.
Miller strip sack, Matt
Hmm.
Holiday sliding in and touching the plate, which he did.
Hmm.
No, but I mean, it could go down as one of those type of moments. Like Mike Breen gave it a bang. It was one of the most. I mean, that was almost. I don't want to say it was the dagger because it got close again, and obviously
Oh yeah.
LeBron had a shot to tie it there. But I don't know what it sounded like for you in the arena, but watching on TV, it sounded like all of the life just sucked out of crypto at that point. I mean, it was just you could hear a pin drop. It sounded like on TV, and I can't imagine what it was like there because it was loud there for a while in the fourth, and then it would just shut down.
There were gasps. There were gasps of horror at him being able to hit that shot, and especially because he had done it earlier in the game too. On that, it was another crazy step back. I think it was in the second quarter, but him being able to like step all the way back from basically like at the free throw line,
Yeah.
escape dribble, going like straight backwards, and the trebuchet, getting the ball up over his head and slingshotting it through the net is it's disgusting. It's frankly disgusting. And you know why people hate the Nuggets? It's because they feel like, oh, they're getting lucky with these
Okay, but
shots. They're getting
can we talk
lucky.
about that for a second?
Sure.
Jokic has made that shot time and time again over the last. I mean, he kind of coined that 4 or 5 years ago when he had this hurt ankle and he had to shoot off the wrong foot, or
Yeah.
he's calling it the wrong foot. But he's made that shot a bunch of times in his career. If we're going to talk about lucky, how about LeBron trying to throw an oop in the first quarter that just happened to go in the hoop?
That's
That is
right.
lucky. Okay,
That's true.
when
That's
Jokic
definitely true.
over and over again throughout his career, it's not luck anymore. And so,
No,
yeah,
and he
and
he
say the
does some
Nuggets are lucky, but they shot like that the whole series.
and now I think what some people will say is that oh they outperformed every game. They outperformed it every time. But I mean here's the thing. The Nuggets they had no fear of the Lakers. They had no fear of the Lakers defense. And I think you could see in the previous series that the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies kind of feared them. They feared the rim protection of Anthony Davis. And when Jokic took it to AD in that first game, I think it really set the tone in terms of, hey, this is what you're going to expect. This is not the matchup that it was in each of the two first series. And while AD is still a fantastic rim protector in his own right, and his ability to kind of do it in help side most of the time. Like, I mean, Denver still attacked him. They still found ways around him. Jamal Murray was hunting him. Like it's very clear that the Nuggets just they did not respect him in the way that other teams did because they knew they could get around it. It just didn't matter what he had to do.
I also think that I don't want to know. I don't know if I would say it surprised them, but it seemed like the depth of the Nuggets just overwhelmed LA. And I think the thing when you have a superstar who is so selfless and so team first and so I want to win over everything oriented, I mean, it rubbed off on all of them because he had 6 assists in the first quarter. He really
Right.
was looking to shoot. He was just dishing, and KCP was hitting shots, and Mike was hitting shots. And then all of a sudden, Jamal hit shots here in the second quarter that kind of kept them sort of within rhythm. Bruce made play like you can go down the list, and all 7 guys really did something that was. I don't know if Jeff really had an impact on the offensive, but
Jeff somehow accumulated a block in this game, and I do not remember it at all.
but my point is that they had so much effort and energy spent focused on guarding Nikola Jokic, and rightfully so. I mean, he's the best player in basketball, but the dude just doesn't care about his own stats. And I
Yeah.
loved what Michael Malone said about where's all the stat padding rumors coming out now in his post game presser because it's the dude just wants to win. And I think it's become very apparent that he does not care about his personal. The best part of that was when, well, this is twofold. One, I was surprised that Lisa Salters knew who Jokic was when she stepped on the court because she admitted earlier this week that, I saw him in game one. He's really good. It's the first time I've watched him. Okay. But two, when they asked him what this Western Conference Finals MVP trophy means to him, he said nothing. Said he won it for his teammates. And that's just, to me, as a lifelong Nuggets fan, it's just amazing to hear that the best player in the world has that attitude because the rest of those guys in that locker room do too.
It's been really cool to see. they continue to shine. They continue to shine in the best ways possible. And Jokic is at the forefront of it all. He's at the center of it all and deserves this moment. I wrote about that in my post game that people should read over at milehighsports.com. All right, let's talk about Jamal real quick. He made some interesting plays defensively. There were a lot of help side plays on that final possession that LeBron had. It was actually Jamal Murray who came from across the lane and got into his driving space, and I think made it an easier opportunity for AG to block the shot that he did, just having to force LeBron back into the middle of the floor a little bit. But Jamal also had 25. Like, he also did what he normally does, 10 of 18 from the field and 25 points, 5 assists. I mean, Jokic, he gets the day for sure. 30 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 45 minutes played. Like, that's an insane number. Did you know LeBron played the entire 48 minutes? Like,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He came off the floor with about 4 seconds left, and they showed on the broadcast. I don't remember who was shooting free throws for. Like, it might have been Anthony Davis. LeBron didn't even stay to watch the end of the half. He was walking to the locker room. They had the cameras in the tunnel. He had his jersey off, walking. It's like, you're not going to stay on the floor for the last 4 seconds. Really? You can't sit there.
I mean, he's a little tired. Like, I can understand.
Don't use that excuse. There's water, there's Gatorade, there's a million towels on the bench. You can sit there and watch the rest of the half. Come on.
Yeah, that's probably true. But hey, when you're the king, you get a little bit of special treatment, and that's okay. That's fine. But I mean, either way, Jamal, like, he has stepped up in every single way possible. Before this game, he was averaging 35 points a night. Didn't need to be that level of, like, shot taker in this game. He took 18 shots and still had 25, but just did exactly what he had to do.
Is it crazy to say that the Nuggets had the number 1 and number 2 best players in this series?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because Jamal was in almost any other situation, I think Jamal wins player of the Western Conference Finals. He was outdone because his teammate averaged a 30-point triple-double.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff from Nikola.
Jamal's not – I don't know if I would say it was a quiet 25, but, I mean, you look up at the box score and, like, man, this guy has 25. He's impacted the game. Like you said, the play of the night defensively when he came over and got both hands on the ball. The only thing – and I was going to ask you about this. The only thing – that I didn't understand what Jamal did, and I didn't understand what Michael Malone was thinking, and I don't know if anybody realized it. There was 27 seconds left. LeBron missed a shot. Nuggets came down with the rebound. 2-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Why didn't they dribble it out? Why did they not take the shot with no time left on the shot clock, or 1 left on the shot clock with 3? The ball goes up. Then the Lakers rebound with maybe a second. Instead, Jamal went to the basket like at 6, missed, and the Lakers got the rebound with 4 seconds. And the Nuggets had 2 timeouts left. I don't know how. I was screaming at the TV, like, I don't know what it was like in the arena, but I was thinking,
it's
pull it out from a shot, make them foul you, call a timeout. Somebody had to have noticed that.
From my vantage point, just in the press box, it wasn't like it wasn't great. It wasn't easy to see the clock and the game at the same time. So I didn't really even fully acknowledge, like, when he went, because I thought he got a good shot, if I'm being honest. Like, I thought,
the look was fine, yeah. And
yeah, like
being so nitpicky because, like I just said, he, if they would have given him the MVP, I would have been okay with it. I thought Jamal was a superstar. This is maybe me just being a little too picky, and I would apologize to him because he's obviously
I think it's fine.
Like, hey, I had a good look. I took the shot. I put the dagger in him. Like, they go up 4. No one's talking about that. But I was just a little curious about that.
That's probably the right thought process there, is that, hey, it's not like he went with 16 on the clock. He went with like 8, 7, and then they got the rebound, called the timeout in his 4 seconds, and it's a detail thing that they probably should have collected. It was interesting because they had gone to Jokic several times down the stretch there, and that was the first time that they really went to Jamal with the ball in his hands, and that it's not a surprise that he ended up getting the shot in that situation. But
what a luxury that is, that you don't have to worry that Jokic didn't touch the ball in that situation. I was completely comfortable with the ball in Jamal's hands there.
Isn't that great? Like, isn't that that is a different feeling from how many Nuggets fans have felt for these last couple years, these last few years, if I'm being honest. Is like, hey, you always want the ball in Jokic's hands. Like Murray, like you don't want him like isolating in that situation. But I think he earned the benefit of the doubt in this series and in these playoffs. Just like, hey, you got a good matchup, go. Like you've been great. You got an opportunity here.
Well, and I think it shows his growth and his maturity too. That yeah, he missed the shot. It wasn't a bad look by any means, but the play of the game that he made, and he had 25, was making up for it on the defensive end of the floor the next time down. I mean, he
Yeah.
basically shut down the series right there. Got both hands on the ball, gave Aaron Gordon a chance to slide over and defend without fouling and go straight up and block the shot.
Says he only got 2 steals and 1 block, Jamal did, but it felt like more. It felt like he had a greater impact than that, if I'm
Well,
being honest.
I'm not
So,
sure if it was him or if it was more KCP, but there was a lot of passes deflected on the perimeter. A lot of open
mhm.
shots that LA could have had where ball got deflected out of bounds or wing defenders were tipping passes. It just seemed like there were a lot of active hands on the outside too.
Which is great. It's exactly what you need in a game like this. So, credit to him for sure. But tell you what, hey, let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to discuss the rest of the rotation, including Aaron Gordon, who I think deserves just a massive amount of credit for stepping up in this moment. Deserves a ton. But first, everybody, as you know, we're brought to you by our good friends over at Superbook. Bring that big bet energy this summer with Superbook Sports. They are the most trusted name in sports betting, and right now, use promo code MILEHIGH to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 with promo code MILEHIGH. Simply visit superbook.com for terms and conditions or download the Superbook Colorado app in app stores. Enter the promo code MILEHIGH and you'll get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. We'll be right back on Pickaxe and Roll. And we're back. Pickaxe and Roll. Ryan Blackburn here. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate all the love and support on the podcast. I know it's late. I know we had to go live tonight because I've got an 11 a.m. flight. I did not think that waking up and doing the pod at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's 7:30 in the morning my time, and then 8:30 your time probably wouldn't have been a great idea. But so we're getting this out tonight. Hopefully we hit that sweet YouTube algorithm and
Yeah.
have this
Hey
thing
man,
pop.
honestly, you could have told me we're going at 3:30 in the morning. I would have been pumped to do it anyway because this is I mean the first time in franchise history. You could have said we're going to do it at any point. I would have been all in on it.
We'll do it live. It's great. Aaron Gordon. Let's talk about him a little bit. I had previously declared on the last episode, you were there for that I didn't think that it was an Aaron Gordon series. I didn't think that this was the right series for him. And Denver closed with Jeff Green in Game 3. They had some success with that, spacing out the floor for Anthony Davis, and Denver benefited from that in Game 3. But in Game 4, I think AG came to play. He was absolutely fantastic in this one and hit the shots that Denver needed him to hit. That was so massive, so massive for him. And just tip of the cap to Aaron Gordon, who steps up exactly when you need him to.
The other thing, I know you look at the box score and LeBron has 40, but I thought Aaron Gordon bothered him, especially in the second half. I think he was physical with him, and LeBron was different after their little scuffle. He
That
really
was weird. Like,
took him out of
did
it.
they? Because I'm up in the presser. Like, I don't see a lot of the details, and I look down and there's a scuffle. Like Aaron Gordon is being pushed away from LeBron James. I'm like, okay, did he say something? Did he take exception to a
So,
hard foul or something?
I don't know.
What happened?
Did you have a chance to see the replay at all?
No.
They came down the floor. Gordon, I mean, he's trying to get into his space a little bit. Nothing crazy like defenders do often. He kind of had his arm over LeBron's arms, so LeBron didn't like that. He kind of moved him, and he turned, and Gordon's arm was like, I don't think it was intentional. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it was very gently, kind of caught him in the cheek a little bit. And LeBron took into it. And then Aaron Gordon put his hands like you could. I think it was unintentional. Again, I'm wearing a Nugget shirt, so maybe there's some fandom there. But LeBron then extended a forearm to AG's throat and had it up here and shoved him out. And like he didn't bring it down for a good probably 10 seconds. And I was thinking, this was before I saw the hand of the face. But I'm thinking,
Yeah.
man, if this is anybody other than LeBron James, that might warrant an ejection.
Yeah. It's
That time
a
LeBron
weird thing.
they weren't gonna do that. So it was weird, but it almost kind of felt like, and I know LeBron was probably gassed in the second half, but it kind of seemed like that took him out of rhythm a little bit too. He never really got going again after that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's curious. It's just a curious thing to see. I'm surprised, if I'm being honest. Like I thought that LeBron would be a little bit better in the second half than he was, like because he was dominating the first half. Like there's no doubt in my mind. But
And
I
hitting
think
big
part of that,
threes too.
yeah, and part of that was he made his shots and that was a big deal. But uh, part of it was Denver didn't really play defense. Like I don't think that Aaron played that great of defense against him, and part of it was Jokic didn't play that great of defense when they brought him into the pick and roll, and it took until the second half, and then he played great defense in the second half. I thought that Jokic did, and AG like it looks a lot better when the space is closed down and he's getting a little bit of help, and then LeBron's a little bit more tired, and then that I think all those things benefit for sure, but like AD deserves a ton of credit because this is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think LeBron sprinted out and probably gassed out, and that's probably how it goes.
I mean, you're exactly right about the first and second half. The Lakers only scored 38 points in the whole second half. The Nuggets
Jesus,
defense was incredible. I
yeah,
think like you said, I think they just wore themselves out. They threw everything they had in the first half and they ran out of gas as part of it. And I also think Michael Malone made a ton of defensive adjustments in the second half. I thought Jokic's defense was good, but I thought Aaron Gordon kind of spearheaded that. LeBron went 3 for 12 in the second half. He never really got into attack mode. Him and Jamal bothered him. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, he still ended up with 40, but he only scored 10 points in the second half. And it just seemed like everything he had to do was work for. He was distributing, dishing. He was not able to ever get really downhill. He got downhill once or twice in transition, but in the half court set, it seemed like he never really could get into a rhythm again.
I love it. I love it, and that's. I mean, he had a lot on his shoulders. I do think that like there's no doubt that he would probably be better if he had a better co-star, but Anthony Davis kind of eh,
David, he didn't. He
eh,
was not. He was not really a factor.
yeah, I mean, like he got to the free throw line, like nice, and but like some of the actual baskets that he made, it was just very frustrating. I think if you're a Lakers fan to have to watch LeBron do all of that in the first half, and then Denver creeps back, they creep on back, and you see the reverse jinx that I dropped at
Yeah.
halftime.
I also saw that someone tried to send that to the old takes exposed, and they responded to that too. That's how you know you've made it.
Made it, baby. Like, hey,
Reverse
sometimes you just got to know what you're good at. Know like I've perfected my craft over the course of this playoff run, and that was that was probably the best timing I've had on the reverse jinx. I'm not gonna lie. Just like right before the second half starts, and they go on this massive run, and obviously they score 36-16 out of the third quarter. Like that magic is real. Magic is real. It
well,
just is. I have no other way to explain it. Like it's been a lot of fun to track that.
I hope you're available for this for the entirety of the Jokic, Porter, Jamal era. Because
They're
they're
gonna have to hire me on as a
10
chaplain.
years.
Like, somebody who like blesses the arena. Like maybe I could be one of those witches that blesses the arena before the games
Whatever
back in
works.
like the
Just work
70s.
it. No, but to
It's
go back to your point, or Anthony Davis he had 21 on 15 shots. I mean, he was 6 for 15 from the field. Did almost all of his work at the free throw line. Is if that's the way that they're going to score points, and LeBron only had 10 in the second half, man, the amount of defense they were able to throw at him with getting contributions on the offensive end from KCP and Aaron Gordon tonight he looked like Aaron Gordon from before the All-Star break tonight. I don't know if
yeah.
you get that feeling, but he had some bounce. He was hitting shots. He was aggressive. He was everywhere. I think my favorite play of his is Jokic just fading away. I don't know if he got hit or if he got doubled, and he threw up like an air ball 3 feet short, and AG was there to collect it and throw it in, and he dunked it. And I don't know if they gave Jokic an assist or a missed shot, but those are the kind of hustle plays that Aaron Gordon has kind of feasted on since he's been here.
No, he's been great. And I asked him about his relationship with Nikola, and he waxed poetic on it. So if you guys are interested in a detailed response on that, go check out the feed, NBA Blackburn. Just like amazing stuff from AG. Like
Dare we
he's
say AG is the new Mr. Nugget?
Mr. Nugget. Hey,
I
Team
mean,
Heroes got it right. They got it right, baby.
let's seriously, let's before we move, like, dive into this real quick. The dude came
Mhm.
here after being the go-to guy in Orlando, knows he's probably the fourth option here, never complains about anything, has to guard every opposing team's toughest player. He's had to guard Karl Anthony Towns. He's had to switch on Anthony Edwards. He had to guard Devin Booker. He had to guard Kevin Durant. He had to guard LeBron James. He was on Anthony Davis for stretches, and dude just goes out and does his job. Flies out to Serbia to see Jokic in the summer. Like, I mean, dude might be Mr. Nugget now. I don't know.
So I think there's no question, if we're being honest. Like Porter's too good. Murray and Jokic obviously too good. Like those guys are they mean even more. But like you need an award to be able to credit those kinds of folks. And AG just embodies what that means. Like he is the ultimate hype man for the rest of his team. Doesn't need to have his own individual shine, but when he does shine, it feels all that much better. So I totally love to see it. Like it's hard not to love it. He's gonna have his hands full with Jimmy Butler, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be crazy. But hey, I mean, good for AG. If anybody can do it, he's the guy. So we will see. Uh, let's talk about some of these other guys before we take another break here. KCP, I have the same tag as I did previously. Steps up right when you need him to. Just a fantastic KCP performance. Hit the clutch, like not the clutch three, but like the important three, two back to back in a row in that first quarter, just to get the ball rolling a little bit. And one of those was an and one in the left corner. That was a big deal. Hit another three throughout the game and made some great defensive plays. There was one play where Jokic is ISO'd against LeBron, and like KCP is he's having to defend two guys by himself on the strong side of the play. And he rotates out there lightning fast when LeBron passes the ball to the wing. And I think it was Austin Reeves who then tried to pass it to the corner and he deflects it. This was right at the end of the game. And like he just makes these plays. He makes these smart, veteran, savvy plays, and they win you games. Those are plays that don't show up in the box score at all. And they win the game. That's just who he is.
It's just awesome to have a guy with championship experience on your roster that can be the vet, but isn't 40 years old. And he's not the Udonis Haslem vet. And I love Udonis Haslem, but he's 58 years old. How old is Udonis really? 42? 43?
He's like 59.
KCP can still play. And he hits the thing I like about KCP is he's always ready. He's always shot ready. He knows he's not. Same thing with Aaron Gordon. Both of their fourth or fifth option would probably get up 7 to 11-ish shots per game.
Yeah.
But man, he hits big shots. He's never afraid of the moment. When he made the and one layup to put the Nuggets ahead, it got Jokic fired up. He was fired up. Like that felt like the turning point in that game. And I know that the Stars did a lot tonight, but I felt like without KCP and without Aaron Gordon, they probably don't win that game. Like it was a concerted effort from all five starters tonight. And I thought I think he had 13 tonight. What did he have? Yeah, he finished with 13. But it seemed like every time he hit a shot, it was big. It ended runs in the first half. It got him going in the second half. He was able to shoot. He was able to hit threes, but he was also able to get himself to the rim. And he's another guy that he's kind of like Aaron Gordon. He doesn't back down. He's tough. He brings a championship hard-nosed mentality to the defensive end of the floor, which is something they just have desperately needed on the wing for so long, just because the only guy they really had to do that before was Gary, and Gary just couldn't stay healthy.
The and one to put them up was so big. Like there was a ton of momentum there that the building was already getting antsy in that, okay, you saw that the Lakers had a 15-point lead coming out of halftime, but they're just chipping away. And then Darvin Ham calls a timeout and it's down to 7 or 8. And then they try to push it back up to double digits, but then Denver chips away again. And it's you're down, like you're up 1 if you're the Lakers, and like right at the end of the third quarter, basically. And Denver gets that possession where he gets the and one off the back cut from Jokic, and it was such a fantastic play and such a fantastic delivery from him. And now Lakers fans look up at the scoreboard after the timeout's called, and Denver's up one. Like after everything and how it felt, like all the momentum was sucked out of the building, and he's just so good at, like, KCP is just so good with his timing. Like he knows exactly when to show up, how to be the guy. And it's like, where would Denver be without KCP and Bruce Brown? Like they would be dead.
No, you're exactly right. It's depth on the wing that they've desperately needed for so long.
100%. Let's go now. Michael Porter missed shots, but made other plays. Like had another 10 rebounds tonight, and like did hit a couple here, but like still didn't feel like it was his best shooting performance. 5 of 16 from the field, 3 of 10 from 3, but had a block in that first quarter. Only had 1 assist. We're not getting Michael Passer Jr. this time, but still, hey, 10 rebounds, and some of those rebounds were big. I'm not gonna lie.
Michael Passer Jr. is fantastic. I don't think I've heard you say that before.
I think that's a Brendan vote. Is a shout out to.
That's great.
That's my second DMVR shout out. Come on, guys, you better pay me.
We talked about stock up, stock down about Michael Porter last series, and I said he's about even. I think you said down. And I know he didn't shoot great tonight, but he was, to me, I thought he was fantastic. He was physical. He was grabbing tough rebounds. There was a play where I don't remember who was in the court. It might have been Dennis Schroeder. Reeves cut, ball went to Schroeder. Porter covered the cutter and then recovered back out and got a hand up on the 3-point line and ran Schroeder off the line. I think it resulted in a turnover. So he dropped to cover the cutter, and he went back to the 3-point line and defended and didn't give an open 3. That's something that Michael Porter Jr. a year ago, we would have never seen that out of. The growth,
probably not. It's like just not healthy enough.
That he's not a liability on the defensive end anymore. Like I was so impressed with, and even he didn't shoot well, but a couple of the shots he hit were big.
Yeah,
like, no, absolutely. The key was huge, and he had one. We're evaluating misses. I must be really excited with what I saw from him or something. But they were up 6 late in the fourth, and he had a wide open transition 3, and he let it fly. And I thought that was in. I mean, I thought that was, and it went in and out. But that's a shot, man. He has no fear, and I love that about him. It was a decent look. It was in transition. He hadn't touched the ball for a while, but man, he let it fly. And a shooter like that, if he's confident, man, if he gets hot in one of those games in the finals, he could win you a game.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm over evaluating a small miss like that, but man, I thought he was tremendous in this series.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the size for him, like his athleticism, his physicality, his defense, his rebounding, those have all come to the forefront in this series. It hasn't been as much about the elite shot making. And against a smaller team like the Heat, it might be more about the shot making. That might be what it ultimately is about. But like we talked about after the last podcast, or during the last podcast, I think that he is the perfect third option and has stepped up in that regard. And that's been super, super cool. Like he just deserves a ton of credit for being able to fill that gap. And like it's you don't know when your opportunity is going to have to be to step up, and he's still trying to figure out that timing, kind of like KCP. KCP, I think, is perfected it. Michael Porter's still trying to figure it out, but he's getting really good at it. And I think that he is more talented than that role actually means, and like what it actually stands for. But on this team, he's going to be able to continue to shine. Like I don't see any reason why they can't continue to make sure to get him shots, and like he's going to be able to find that. It's all about the other stuff, and Denver's really coaxed that out of him. Michael Malone's really coaxed that out of him. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, the fact that I think someone mentioned it, I thought I saw a yeah, there it is. He's a very willing passer. He used to just camp early in his career and want to hit shots. He's got no fear to get to the lane and get into the. I mean, I wish he would do it a little bit more, but he can get himself to the basket. He can take a couple of dribbles and dish. He called him Michael Passer Jr. Like he's his all around game has grown a bunch, and so yeah, he didn't hit shots tonight, but in the past, Mike not hitting shots would result in him being taken off the floor, and that's not happening anymore. He's doing so many other things that still impact the game.
Next up, there was no bench tonight. Like it's just not a thing like that happened. Bruce Brown played his requisite minutes off the bench. He played actually less than his requisite minutes. He only played 20. Usually he's been at kind of 25 to 30-ish over the course of this, and like had some minutes where he was at 37. But tonight he did not play that. He played 20 minutes. Jeff Green played 10. Bruce Brown, I'm still going ye freaking haw because like why not? Like he is.
No,
he's
no, no,
still
no,
not.
no. We have to reverse jinx this too.
Oh yeah.
We've said it before. What are we going to have to do to have other people around the league say, we don't want that Bruce Brown guy. That way he hops back in because he's going to demand so much money. So let's see if you can use some of your reverse jinx magic on keeping Bruce around here too.
I'll type out ha freaking ye over the course of these next 4 Nuggets games, and we'll see if people forget about it. That'll be actually. I mean, look, if he's talking to Jimmy Butler, that he ain't being forgotten.
You know what?
That's for sure.
You know what my favorite Bruce Brown play tonight was because he only had 6 points. He didn't, it wasn't a great Bruce game, but Tristan Thompson, for whatever reason, thought because he had a couple of defensive series where he was solid 2 or 3 times down the floor, thought he could talk. And so Bruce made a layup right next when we're over him, and he had something to say back to Tristan, and then Tristan was out of the game a couple possessions later. So I really like that because, for whatever reason, I know you're in the arena, but Tristan Thompson was the ESPN halftime interview. And that
I saw that. So I was weird. Like, okay, whatever, guys. Like, and I saw the thing that they had on the tagline. Like I saw the thing that they had on the tagline for him was, hey, he won a championship in 2016. Like it wasn't anything about his stats. It wasn't anything about
like what he minutes at that point.
Yeah, like he had forced a couple misses from Jokic, and most of it was because Jokic played 45 minutes and couldn't like breathe anymore when Tristan Thompson was out there, but found a way. Still found a way to do it. But
either way, that's my Bruce play of the night is him chirping back at Tristan.
No, I think it's totally fair too. And then Jeff Green. I mean, it wasn't a good Jeff Green game. That's fine. Like, look, it's not all going to be well and good. I think everybody else contributed positively. Jeff Green had a block. I don't really know what else Jeff Green did well, and usually I'm like trying to figure out the positives with him, but had 1 rebound, was a team below in the plus minus, and it was only in 10 minutes. Like, Denver's going to need their 7th man to provide stuff. Like, they got a combined 8 points and 3 rebounds from their bench tonight. Like that, this was a starters versus Lakers kind of game, and they needed it. They absolutely did. But I don't know, man. Like they're going to need more from their bench, including Bruce, but like most especially Jeff.
You know what? And you're kind of the expert in rotation and minutes, and I was not shocked to see Christian not get minutes just because I think you said it either last episode or 2 podcasts ago. This just hasn't been a Christian series. It just matchups and size and whatever. I mean, he'll get back in the rotation in the finals. But were you at all concerned that Michael Malone only went to 7 guys and didn't say, okay, I'm taking Christian out, and didn't give a few minutes to anybody else and just rode his starters over 40 minutes? Because if they would have lost this game, I know LeBron and I know AD would have been in the same situation, but you'd been coming back here with a bunch of tired legs when you could have maybe thrown Zeke Naji, or if you wanted to go a little more guard specific, Reggie Jackson, or even, if you're going to stay big, even Peyton Watson. I mean, I know we're not big on the whole idea of, especially you've talked about it, you think it might be too soon for Peyton, but like one of those 3 maybe to absorb 10 minutes or 5 minutes. It just seemed a little weird that he chose this game to go down to 7. And I'm not sure I'm even critiquing it. I just kind of want to know what you thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that it happened because here's like Christian played 3 minutes last game and he clearly wasn't ready. Like he clearly wasn't prepared. And I think that rather than mess with something, try to introduce something new into the rotation, I think that Michael Malone has his guys. He knows who he wants to play. He knows how they're feeling and what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. And I think that most of what he's been able to do has been good. It's translated. Now, That's because Denver's got the best starting lineup in basketball, and Bruce Brown fits seamlessly with all of those guys, and they can basically use any combination of those lineups, whether it's 3 guards, Michael Porter, or Aaron Gordon, and then Jokic, or if it's Bruce for Jamal, or it's Bruce for MPJ. Like they could go to pretty much, or it's even Bruce for KCP. Like they have all these different combinations that they can go to. And so they can get guys rest. I don't think they actually manage the rest patterns that well. Like one of the things that I was critical of him for was like he didn't make a sub for 10 minutes in that third quarter. And they went on a big run, and that's fine. But it definitely tired out Jokic at the beginning of that fourth quarter, and I think that was one of the reasons why the Lakers got back into the game. It's like I don't think he trusts anybody else. That would be my biggest take, is that on the road you have an opportunity to win. If you do win, you don't play for another week and a half. Go with your guys. Don't rest anybody. Like just go for it.
And that's fair.
This is what it's for.
Like you said, I just think there was a couple of times where they looked exhausted. A couple of shots that Jokic hits in his sleep, he was leaving short because he had played the whole second half, or so. But I mean, it is what it is. They won the game. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I was just a little shocked to see he didn't go 8 with somebody else if he felt Christian wasn't going to give him enough.
Yeah, we'll see whether that changes in the finals. But now we can talk about that. We could talk about, hey, what makes sense for the finals, Michael? What should they do for the finals, Michael? How do you feel about the finals? Like that's pretty cool. So
they'll go back to he's going to go back to what he's done with his rotations. Don't you think Christian's going to come back in there and get 10 minutes a night?
I'm sure Jimmy Butler will say a lot of words to Christian Brown.
Oh, and as he should. I mean, you know what he's going to say. I mean, one of the greatest things about Michael Malone is he's honest. He's transparent. I think so many of the guys respect him because of that. He doesn't mince words. Like he's going to tell Christian, hey, you weren't great in this series, but we need you to win a title. You're going to get back out there. You're going to be in the rotation. Go play 10 minutes, play great defense, hit an open shot here or there, and rebound. And I think Christian's going to respond just fine. But I think they'll go back. And I think if you have Aaron Gordon and KCP frustrating Jimmy Butler like crazy, call me crazy. Maybe I'm looking a little too ahead of this, but I know Miami's on a historic run. I know they're a Cinderella story. I don't think they have enough to compete and hang with the Nuggets for more than, 6 would be.
Let's talk about it on the other side. Let's make sure we'll have plenty of time, but we are going to have plenty of time to talk about the Miami Heat. That's for sure. Like whether it's Miami or if Boston does the impossible, which I very much doubt that they do, but we'll have plenty of time to discuss it. But first, let's discuss. Let's not. Let's just go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the greatest season in franchise history so far. We'll be right back. And we're back. Pickaxe and Roll. Ryan Blackburn here. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. For my audio audience, you guys have no idea that I spent about 0 seconds between takes for that particular sound.
I've been producing this in the background all season, and it still gets me when you go that quick.
Yeah, it's hilarious, isn't it? Like it's like, all right, cool. We're just going. We're just going, but that's fine. No, we're gonna having a good time with this. Let's talk about the greatest season in franchise history now. Let's talk about what the Nuggets have done to this point. And if you're in the chat, I want to hear your best moments of the season so far. What you're excited about, what got you the most pumped. If you're in the chat, type out your most exciting times, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But I think that like this is unequivocally the greatest season in franchise history, and for a lot of different reasons, but this is the furthest they've ever gone. This is the best quality team they've ever had. This is the moment where they may win an NBA championship. Knock on wood. I'm really excited about where it continues to go from here, but like you defeated Nug Life in a lot of ways by sweeping the Lakers. Like you swept the Lakers on their home floor. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Those 57 win teams and the team that went to the Western Conference Finals in 2009 that would have you can't change my mind. They would have beaten Orlando had they gotten past the Lakers and gotten to the finals. We weren't alive for it in the 80s, but I've seen that 1985 team. I've seen plenty of highlights. I've heard Bill Hanslick talk about it on end. If Alex English doesn't get hurt, if this doesn't happen, they maybe beat the Lakers too. But for this to happen now with the most, I won't even say the most underrated superstar in maybe the history of Denver sports, like the dude that is a two-time MVP and had an ESPN reporter say she's never even watched him play before this series. I think it makes it that much more satisfying that they fly under the radar and they get to use it as fuel.
It's always an interesting thing to claim being the underdog when you're a 1 seed, to claim being the underdog and being under-discussed and underappreciated when you have the two-time MVP on your team. But I do think that there's some fairness to it. I do think that they have a lot of gripes. They have a lot to, like, the NBA has a lot to answer for. ESPN, to some extent TNT, they have a lot to answer for when it comes to the Nuggets. Just the way that they are covered, the way that they are presented to the casual fan. They have not been presented to the casual fan. And to be able to see them turn this around in this way, it has been really, really impressive to see everybody kind of come around to the Nuggets, be like, oh yeah, they're legit.
How many times did we hear it in this series alone? Oh, the Lakers found an adjustment. Or even before, they watched a bunch of film on Murray. They've got something. They know how to defend him. They've got then
so quirky.
and Rui was going to shut down Jokic. Then, well, the Lakers should feel really good about where they're at. The moral victories, man, they're up 2-0. And after Game 3, really, the Lakers should be up 2-1. These games were this, like, come on, man.
Okay.
You just got swept.
Okay. You just got swept.
You know how hard it is to sweep a team in the playoffs? No less the Western Conference Finals.
It don't matter. It does not matter that the games were close.
This team all year. Every
team has been
starts with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And Michael Malone, you know what? The best part about that is Michael Malone calls people out, and then media outlets, instead of looking at it and being like, oh, you know what? He's right. Oh, we never did that. I don't know what he's looking. It's laughable. And so I think I love that they're still in this position, because whether it's Miami, Boston, if they go on some crazy historic, never been done thing, run before and come back down 3-0, that's all it's going to be talked about. But if it's Miami's still a major market. And so even though they're the 8th seed, they have the history. They've got the championships with Wade and Shaq, and they've got the championships with LeBron and Wade and Bosh. And now it's going to be Jimmy Butler just dragging them to the final. Like, the narrative's still going to not necessarily, for a 1 seed, they're not going to get the coverage as a normal 1 seed does. And I think they kind of feast off of that.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt in my mind. It's been really cool to see them do that. Let's talk about some of the best moments of the season. Make sure to comment down below, of course. But just going back here, Cedric says, most excited was when we clinched the 1st seed and remained composed throughout all the drama in March. Not gonna lie, I was not very excited in March. That was the time where I had to get a lot of people in line. You were on these shows. You understood. Like, I kept telling people that the Nuggets were fine. I kept telling them, but the fact that I had to tell them and that it wasn't really like full on belief, I think that was a lot of Nug life kind of seeping into everybody, being like, I don't know, don't know if we're cut out for this moment. And
it's just human nature to get a little complacent. You're the number 1 seed. You have been. It's a little monotonous. You're waiting for the playoffs to start. You're better than Orlando and Detroit and San Antonio. And he lost to a few of those teams, but dude, they kind of, I don't want to say they mailed it in, but they knew they were saving something for the playoffs.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of people were like, they didn't go 82-0. People live and die on every game in the regular. And that's great. as a fan, you want them to win every game, don't get me wrong, but it's the bigger picture. And I feel like that was kind of lost during that time.
No, there's no doubt. No doubt at all. 5555-ish says Murray game winner in Portland, AG Christmas Day dunk. I was there for both of those. That's one of the rare road regular season games that I was able to go to. And I'm so glad that I was there for that, because you got to see a palpable sigh of relief from everybody in that moment. And that was one of my favorite moments that I've ever been a part of, was to see somebody who had been putting a lot of pressure on himself realize it's going to be okay. Was really cool. It was just really nice.
Yeah, and the Aaron Gordon dunk I've seen in the comments a bunch here. So yeah, that's up there too. Like if you say top highlight off the top of your head, first thing that comes to your mind, go. It's got to be the AG dunk. I mean, the dunk of the year, dunk of the last 2 or 3 years. Like he ended a man. Like I'm not sure Landry Shamet still exists.
Hey, Landry Shamet won the game 4.
He had a random game where he went off in the fourth quarter in the playoffs, but
that was actually the ghost of Landry Shamet.
Yeah, he hadn't been around in months.
Yeah, Cosmic says Jamal game winner basically changed the season for the team. I actually think that there's something to that, just because the team had to watch Jamal kind of struggle and go through those ups and downs for the first like 20 games of the season or so, and then turn around and realize, okay, it's hurting a little bit, and then found a way. Then he found a way to rise to that moment, and it was just really cool, just as somebody who has a vested interest in his success. But like he is very competitive, and being able to do that against the Portland Trailblazers of all teams was really cool, especially old teammate Jeremy Grant shooting that over the top of him. That was great. Justice says, honestly, Jokić's last 3, then HML shutting down King James is kind of a dream I haven't woken up from, apparently. I love it. It's a storybook. Like this is something I'll be able to watch back those final 5. Actually, I posted those final 5 minutes or so in my recap. There's a clip that the NBA did that they put on YouTube that has all of that time. So if you're looking to reminisce, go check that out. But it was really cool to watch, because like I got a different angle on it from where I was up in the press box, but really cool to see that Joker shot for sure.
Couldn't have happened to a more favorable team in my eyes. The fact that that's how the series ended was Jamal and AG shutting down LeBron. Oh God, that was just, it couldn't have ended any better way for me.
You know, the Lakers shot more free throws than the Nuggets in every game this series.
There was I saw something about that after the game. They averaged 6.5 more free throws per game and lost the series. That's the first time that's happened. And I can't remember the year exactly, so I'm not going to throw you a false stat, but it was sometime in the 70s. I want to say like somewhere in the mid to late. So about 45 years. That's insane.
45 years. It's nuts. Like this team is awesome. It's so cool to be able to cover and root for this team. Effing the Ineffable says Jamal coming back was the biggest because of the crushing defeat and the long recovery of his injury. MPJ becoming a hooper and being healthy is up there too. MPJ is one of the best stories of the season. There's no doubt in my mind that he deserves so much credit for his ability to come back and then stay ready and stay as physically ready as he has been. It's been super cool to see him at this stage. Doesn't get the national attention for it, but his ability to stay on the court in these moments, both like from a health standpoint and from a defensive standpoint, like he's answered all those questions.
Physically and mentally too. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
He matured a ton this season. He grew up. I mean, not that he was, he's a young guy, and I'm not saying that he was ever a problem or but like just to watch him grow and understand the game a little bit better instead of just realizing that he's just a shooter was, I mean, it was like there was a quick turnaround in the middle of the season. All of a sudden, Michael Porter just went, and he never plateaued. He's still climbing.
100%. Cedric says when we defeated the Grizzlies at home on March 3rd, that was a great moment. That was a pantsing of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I just they never recovered from that.
Well, that spiraled.
Legitimately,
that spiraled some other things after that game.
Shotgun Willie's, I think, needs to have a public apology to John Morant. I think for
ruining
his career.
God,
it's just, oh man, that's a throwback for sure. Casey also says beating the Milwaukee Bucks, that was a big deal. And then beating the Sixers back-to-back, even though Embiid once again ducked out of that meeting in Denver. There's no bigger coward, no bigger cowardly move than ducking that kind of game. When you play every other game, he played everything else, tired himself out. Like that's what this season was like. He got hurt because he was tired at the end of it, but had to duck Denver. That was the one.
He might have been tired, but he ducked that one. Let's be honest. He played. If he was really that hurt, he wouldn't have come back and played the night before, 2 nights before. Like he played the second night of a
back right before this.
Yeah,
holy shit!
I don't want to hear this. He was tired because then he played the next game after that too.
What a fraud! What an absolute fraud!
Honestly, maybe the best thing that happened was that he won the game against the Nuggets and went crazy. That way, he got his MVP. He cried for it, and the Nuggets got to stay under the radar and just focus on team basketball. Because Jokic never cared to be in that conversation in the first place, even though everyone can see it by now who the most valuable player in the NBA is. Facts.
Also, effing the ineffable. The Clippers benching their starters at halftime. That was a fun moment. That's for sure. That's I don't remember if I've ever seen that before, but it was disgusting. It was disgusting basketball that the Clippers played, and the Nuggets just absolutely throttled them and deserved to be benched, 100%. Others here.
Oh, that's a good one. Where did it go?
I see this one. The 12-0 run OT loss against the T-Wolves. Championship composure right there, Lamar says. I think you're right. Like that was one where Denver had no business being in that game, and then they immediately go on that run to be able to tie that game against the Grizzlies.
And almost did it again in overtime.
Yeah, it would have been crazy. I think I was there. T-Wolves fans were shook. They were like, "Holy God!" There was no belief that they were going to actually win that game after Denver had come back and tied that thing to go to OT. But no, that was a fun moment for sure. That was a fun moment. What else? What else are we looking forward? Have you seen any other comments that we should
back up? Where did it go? This one right here.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
The fact that Jeff Green is 2 years younger than LeBron, they always talk about how old LeBron is and how long he's been in the league, but Jeff's a 15-year vet too. And for him to jump like that over one of the best defensive players in the league that is 7 feet tall. Like he didn't dunk near Giannis. He didn't dunk by Giannis. He dunked on Giannis.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable poster. Like that's an infamous poster for sure. That's going in the final season cut. Like there's no doubt. Like what a nutso. What a nutso player Jeff Green is. Like, he's there. There's like the sliders that everybody has. Like his slider for dunking is just like it's all the way up. It's just all the way up there, and for everything else, it's all the way down. But that's
oh, come on.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm for like crossing half court. It's never mind. I'm joking.
We love Jeff. We
love Jeff on this podcast, but deserves a little bit of criticism. It's okay.
I mean, that's fair. I would say sliders up down though.
I didn't mean it that badly. Any other moments from the comments?
I don't think I saw any that big ones that we missed. I'm scrolling through. Another one that was kind of that I can just think of on the top of my head that wasn't. It was kind of. I mean, it sucked that it was necessary, but it was the Jokic game winner versus Orlando.
Yeah, that's one. That's one where.
And he didn't react.
Denver screwed around the entire time. And it is him not reacting, I think, makes this kind of sweeter because like he knew what they would have to do. He made a step back three, had to make a step back three tonight, had to make a couple step back threes tonight in the biggest game of his life. And just was able to get it done. And it's really cool to see just the through line there.
First half of Game 6 against the Suns was another one.
Oh God! Like
just make it easy, man. Don't.
Man, there's been a lot of good moments. There's been a lot of good moments for the Nuggets, and it's been really cool to see. Been really cool to see them just rise to the occasion. But folks, the job's not done. Last thing here before we get out of here, we've been going for just about an hour, and I do want to stress this point that we should celebrate this moment. There's no doubt. Everybody celebrates this moment, and you get like 24 hours. to celebrate it. And once those 24 hours are up, you take a break, you refocus, and you start to figure out, okay, how do you win the actual finals? How do you win the championship? How do you take that final step as a team to go from amazing to immortal? And Denver's already set the tone in terms of history. They've already done a lot of great things. And I do think that they will win the championship. But it is not a conclusion. It is not a foregone conclusion at all, because what Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat have done in these playoffs is amazing. It's flat out unbelievable. They took down Giannis and the Bucks in 5. They have pantsed the Boston Celtics and will likely finish off this series in short order. And then they took down the New York Knicks, which that one was expected to me, but like still, like they've been underdogs the entire step of the way. Kind of not quite like Denver, but very close to Denver in how they are disregarded. And they also have a dog on their team, so like that is going to be stressful. There's no doubt about it. And there's no doubt that Miami can win games against Denver. Like they can. Will they? We'll see. Hopefully not.
No, 100%. I mean, to think that this team was in a play-in game and now is one win away from the finals, like they were counted out then. They were counted out in the Bucks series. You thought I kind of agreed with you. I thought they'd beat the Knicks, but well, maybe it's New York bias. I don't know. There's a lot of people that thought the Knicks would win and move on. And then now nobody gave them a shot against Boston, and they're up 3-0. So you're 100% right. Job not done. I'm with you. I don't think that they have enough firepower to beat the Nuggets, but everyone has said that about every other series, so you have to be careful with them. I mean, they've got just the perfect. They're kind of built in a similar way to the Nuggets, where they have guys that understand their role and play them well. Like Jimmy Butler is the guy. He's not as good as Jokic, obviously, plays a different position. But I mean, they've got guys on the perimeter that can shoot. Gabe Vincent knows his role. Duncan Robinson can shoot it. Max Strus can shoot it. Bam knows what he's doing. Like they've got guys that they play team basketball like the Nuggets do, and they've got a great coach.
Yeah, and that's the big one where you know that Spoelstra will come out with a lot of different stuff. He'll figure out a lot of different ways to make life hell for the Nuggets, and their life will be hell at various points for a lot of different reasons. But I do think that this team has enough. I think that we've seen what their levels can get to. I think that we've seen what they are capable of doing, and they deserve so much credit for being able to rise to this moment. And basically, anytime any question has been asked of the Nuggets, they have answered it. Yes, we can. And I don't see any reason why they can't do it again. Like I think that the Heat are fantastic. Maybe Tyler Hero comes back, as Casey notes in the comments, but I still think the Nuggets are okay. Yeah. I think they're going to be okay, and they deserve. Like there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot going into a finals. Like you just don't know what that energy is going to be like until you get there. So hopefully they can make it work.
Yep. If it is Miami, I mean, you got to be prepared for anything, and that's. I think the Nuggets, if you look at them on paper, that would be. I hate to say it, but if you just straight look at paper, don't look at what's happening in the playoffs, that would be probably the weakest roster construction of any team they've played so far in the playoffs. And that kind of concerns me because I hope they stay ready. Yes, I would put Minnesota above them.
See, I'd put Minnesota below them in terms of like, I never thought that Minnesota would fit. I know that they may have some bodies that could actually give Denver some issues with Gobert and Towns, and Anthony Edwards is obviously a problem, but I mean, Jimmy Butler is a problem with a capital P.
Jimmy Butler, man.
And
that dude was. Can you imagine if he would have been a Nugget 4 or 5 years ago?
Oh my God.
It might be my favorite non-Nugget in the league right now.
Yeah, just can't trade Jamal. Like, ain't no way. Anyway, you cannot break up this duo anymore. It's just never going to be okay too. Yeah. So
no, I think that's a good thing about what you've heard about this team is all season long is that Malone has said it all playoffs, and the players are all buying into it now in the locker room too. They keep saying, we got 4 more, we got 4 more, we got 4 more. They really didn't seem overly celebratory when ESPN kind of cut to the locker room camera. They were excited, but I think they were focused, and it seemed like, I think you said it. I think I've seen it in the comments a bunch. Job's not done.
Job is not done. Folks, I think we got to call it. I think it is late in the Mile High. I know that it's, what is it, 1:40 there? Good God, it's 12:40 here, and I've got a flight. What was that? Well, I've got a flight tomorrow that I've got to get ready for. But folks, I think it is going to do it for this episode of Pickaxe and Roll. Michael, can you have that outro music for us? Everybody, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. What a time. What an unbelievable story that this is. Everybody deserves a ton of credit for their poise, for their intensity, for their focus. And it's just a great night to be able to celebrate. Michael, you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh man, I'm pumped. I'm so excited. I know it's going to be a grind when we get to June 1st, but for us, the non-players and the non-coaches and just the fans, let's just enjoy it until we get to that point. It's history.
It's history, baby. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that like button on the way out. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys very soon.